Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tarots, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Sophie Milk ñu ngi fété juróom benn ati cafka bu dul dañ ñoo leen indil Jalika full cream milk powder neex saf sàpp te bari cafka pour di leen jërëjëfati si ni ngeen defee Sophie Milk seen favorite milk brand. Léegi mun ngeen a jëfandikoo empty Jalika milk sachets wala carton pour gagner ay xéewal yu riche. Pour gagner motorbike dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty carton yi Jalika milk pour gagner yeneen xéewal yu mel ni PlayStation 4, TV, fridge freezer, gas cooker, bicycle wala mobile phone. dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty Jalika milk sachets def leen si biir enveloppe binda si sa tur ak sa téléphone number. Mun ngeen ko yóbbu si bépp Jalika milk agent bu leen gën a jege. Pour xam bi si raful yi dem leen Jalika milk Facebook page. Jalika milk mooy meew bu ees bu leen so fi indel gën a neex saf sàpp te riche.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Memunaju Fadera. First, the headlines tonight. Wood Exporters Association worried by illegal rosewood trade. Prominent educationist and politician Abbas Mani laid to rest the relatively booming corridor sales. Bob Marley remembered 40 years on. APP leader says Gambia is urgent need of salvation. In other news, Tigray conflict fuels refugee crisis, struggle to deliver aid. Palestinians report 21 killed in Israel, 8 raids on Gaza. COVID stressors add to rising U.S. gun violence. Well, those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The illegal rosewood export trade is proving a hard nut to crack despite several interventions from a lot of quarters. The trade is reportedly ongoing. Modu Elbaji has more details in the story.
The chairman of the Association of Wood Exporters has been struggling to understand why Chinese businessmen were reportedly exporting rosewood from the Gambia when it was reported that even a meter of the prized material should not be exported from Banjul without government's approval. The Wood Exporters Association's chairman, Alhaji Lamin Barrow, tells the Star TV that license for the exportation of rosewood from the Gambia should not be granted to foreign businesses as per the regulations governing its trade.
Our people are in the bush, you should listen to us to tell you the better way. When I wrote them the letter, they said, okay, it's a good idea, but for issuing one individual permit, it should be a collective idea. So I convey the members across the country. They came here, we all signed that we need a unified permit so that we find better solutions. And I submitted them. They ignore it. In that time, I understand there are a few people also grouped together and apply the same thing, which we are financed by the Chinese. I know it. So we intercept them, not to give to them. And other group also, person came from the association, they form themselves, they go and give them the permit. So when they got the permit, the former people that apply, they were not given, they also apply and they got it. So they become two different permits. One is 9 companies jointly, 2020, and the other company they call it cow food or cow food company. So when I got this permit copy, I knew the idea I proposed to them, that's why they excluded the associations. But it's my right to defend the associations. I read them officially.
Some businessmen in the Gambia have been accused of colluding with the separatists in Casamas in the rosewood trade. However, the Association of Wood Re-Exporters in the Gambia has been reportedly giving $3.5 million to the law enforcement to assist in securing the Gambia-Casamas border against illegal rosewood trade. The expectation of the Association of Wood Exporters was that by now, the borders would have been closed to illegal timber trade. The Wood Exporters Association could not also understand why some elements were reportedly active in the rosewood trade when it has been brought to their notice that the government was said to have banned it.
Behind that, I know, because after closure of the Farado, we in the ground, we in the business, we understand that timber still coming. Because we know our numbers. We understand timbers are coming, still in the country, and the agreement is that to stop it. I wrote the minister, give him a proposal that you have to stop this, but the only thing you can stop, suspend all these so-called permit you are issuing. Koso timber, rosewood become a timber that is very sensitive now in this world today. But it goes with a document called CITES. You cannot export it anywhere in this country or in this world without that certificate. So if it's coming in our country, it's going out, we cannot control it. Let's look at the better way to control it. How? We ask them to issue a single permit for a certain period so that we can clean everything in the country.
Several strategies have been proposed by Wood Exporters Association with a view to eradicating illegal logging and backstreet timber trade, but these moves have yet to receive favorable responses from the authorities.
I'm giving another proposal. First one is drop it. You issue permit as you want it, it doesn't help. You cannot stop the timber. The best way to stop this timber, let's try to bring the Senegalese community on the table. Where the timbers is coming from, it's between the two communities that speak the same language. They marry each other. They travel by foot to each other. So you have to bring them on board. How? The timbers are coming opposite 3 regions: LRR, CRR, and URR. Allow my idea, follow it up. Let's have a 3 or 4 month cleaning exercise. As an association, I'm going to meet all those communities. Tell them, look, this is something that can bring a problem with our 2 nations. Let's find a better way to stop it. Or let's sit down in a table and discuss, make a proposal to 2 head of state, Macky Sall and Adam Barrow, so that everybody can free and sleep. Because sometimes me as a chairman, I've been sleeping in the night, people call me. with the problem with Senegalese troops. I cannot support it anymore. I'm tired.
Meanwhile, it has yet to be seen when the wanton destruction of Kasama's forests would cease without will and commitment on the part of the relevant authorities. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
Mourners from all walks of life converge in Brufut on Monday to pay their last respects to veteran educationist Abbas Mane, who passed away earlier this week following a brief illness. Momodu Bailobari witnessed the burial and he prepared this report.
Andiro jannin karkiling ayke mbobem kelale nasiala ngadiamo janjandi isaje jannin karkiling nindula ayban.
Multitudes of Gambians from all walks of life on Monday turned out to pay their last respect to seasoned educationist Mr. Abbas Mane, who passed away on Sunday after a brief illness. Abbas Mane was a prominent figure in the PDOIs and a respected member of the community of Brufut with a career in education spanning over 5 decades. Top officials of the PDOIs, including its Secretary General Honorable Halifa Sallah, Legislator Honorable Sidia Jata, and Usman Silla, were among the hundreds of mourners that accompanied the coffin of the veteran educationist to the Brufut Cemetery. UDP's Amaru Sane was also there. Minister of Information Ibrahim Silla was among the government officials who attended the burial. Abbas Mane was an influential figure in Brufut and has tremendously contributed to numerous community development efforts in his native village. Described as a contented person, Mane was the chairman of Brufut Land Recovery Committee, and his involvement in sports development has been hailed in a lot of quarters. He was quite instrumental in the perimeter fencing project of the Strada football field in Brufut. Tributes came from the PDOI Secretary General Halifa Sallah, Sidia Jata, the Brufut diaspora, among others.
Bi Abbas Tatale. Sate me yalon kontrol be la sate. Sate me yalon kontrol la sate. Wo sate man patilong. Aman silong.
Abbas has departed for a place that knows neither party nor tribe. He is gone to the place where only deeds matter. This earthly life doesn't worth it. This is why we need to help and show respect to each other so that everyone will have peace, both in this life and life after death. Abbas was loyal and not afraid to speak the truth.
Brufut will undoubtedly miss Abbas Mane, as his sterling accomplishments in community development could be only rival to a few. He left a big legacy where the use of Brufut will continue from where he stopped. For Star TV News, I am Bailobari.
The Serekunda market is currently a beehive of activities, barely 48 or so hours before Muslims in the Gambia joined the rest of the Islamic Ummah to observe Eid al-Fitr, locally referred to as Korite. Well, Zaglin Koli visited the market this morning.
Serekunda market is teeming with customers as Muslims in the Gambia prepare to join the rest of the Islamic Ummah to observe Korite. The Serekunda open air market is one of the largest in the country, and it's normally a beehive of commercial activities during feasts such as Korite and Tobaski. In the times leading to the feast, prices of goods are usually beaten down in sales, locally referred to as wanter. Wanter in Serekunda usually attract customers from far and within, and this year's is no exception. Vendor Mam Nyang tells Star TV how bricks business has been as compared to last year when coronavirus scaled down commercial activities.
This year's winter is going well for most of us. Really, customers are patronizing us and business is running smoothly. Last year's Korite winter came at a time when the country was battling with the coronavirus. Sales were poor as livelihoods were destroyed and job losses order of the day.
Police, delegation, RSM,
However, this year's winter is not smooth for everyone. Jibril Gay is a roadside vendor but was counting his loss as well as those of other vendors, reportedly as a result of police harassment.
The police are really giving us tough time because they will not allow us to sell our wares by the roadside. They confiscate our wares, harangue and hector us. They solicit bribes to allow us get our seized goods back.
Meanwhile, the frictions between the police and vendors could be traced to the congestion in the market, and it's hoped municipal authorities would learn a lesson or two from the wanted to plan well for some of the municipality's development. Jacqueline Colley, reporting for Star TV News.
40 years ago from today, Pan-Africanist Bob Nesta Marley breathed his last after a life of fulfilling musical career. Our editor-in-chief, Momodu Justice Dabo, has been reflecting on some of Marley's accomplishments, and he pieced together this report, read in
Exactly 40 years ago from today, celebrated Jamaican singer, songwriter, musician Robert Nesta Marley breathed his last at the University of Miami Hospital in the USA. Born in Nile Mine in Jamaica on the 6th of February 1945, Bob Marley is widely regarded as one of the pioneers of reggae. His enduring music has not only transcended race, age, status, position, and what have you, but has as well cut across all geographies. Tribute has been pouring in for the man whose wisdom-laden, freedom-touting, and equality-driven music still has appeal among millions around the world. Bob Marley was the first international acclaimed musician to emerge from the so-called Third World thanks to his talent accomplishments. He was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1994, served as a world reggae music ambassador, and sold more than 20 million records. Bob Marley was a Pan-Africanist and first traveled to Africa in 1978. Visiting Ethiopia and Kenya, he also visited Gabon, and in 1980, he performed at Zimbabwe's independence celebration. Bob Marley's perspective of unity of African people across all climes of the globe was imbued in all his music and has written a plethora of songs against European imperialism. He was steadfast in his support for the Zimbabwe's liberation movement and vociferous against apartheid in South Africa. Bob Marley was baptized into the Ethiopian Orthodox Church shortly before his death, and Ethiopian Orthodox elements and Rastafari tradition were used in his funeral. Bob Marley has dedicated his life to Africa, an artist who directly identifies with the Black African struggle. The power of Marley's music and commitment go well beyond mere entertainment. I'm Omar Joe.
The flag bearer of the All People's Party, Dr. Bai Biran Jain, has asserted that the Gambia is in urgent need of political salvation as the country edges closer to the 2021 general election. The APP's torchbearer lately made this assertion at the Banjul International Airport as he returned from the UK. Well, Modu Elbaji has more details in this report.
APP's presidential candidate Dr. Bai Biran Jain has opined that the colonial system of education has apparently failed to impart the requisite knowledge and skill set to enable Gambians to drive the development process of the country. According to APP presidential aspirant, the Gambia is losing many young lives to irregular migration due to the lack of prospects for youths in the country. Irregular migration, he went on, must be tackled head-on. The APP's Dr. Jain laments that despite the size and population of the Gambia, the country has the highest per capita in irregular migration as compared to other sub-Saharan African countries. He explains that the colonial-era education has failed the Gambian youth as it was not designed to prepare them for the task of nation building. The colonial education system, he went on, is not designed to develop the Gambia. To Dr. Jain, it's not only the colonial education system that is impeding the country's development.
The laws in the country haven't changed. Most of them are 17th, 18th century laws that are still being used. The agricultural sector is a colonial agricultural system. Peanuts, groundnuts was not Gambian. When they brought peanuts, they made us grow peanuts, groundnuts, so that we can produce, we can fuel oil for their factories during the industrial revolution in Europe. That has passed. 56 years. The Gambia is still, I call it a neo-colonial state.
Dr. Jain said APP is not a party of politicians, but technocrats who are well experienced and committed to take the Gambia out of the doldrums. He explains how APP plans to fight corruption, first off by compelling civil servants, including the president, to declare their asset. Dr. Jain explains that the Gambia is in need of urgent salvation in view of deteriorating security situation as well as the inadequacies in services for the citizenry.
Well, let's put it this way. Jammeh was a target that he has to go. He has to go because everything he was doing was not good for the country. He did some good things. He had the airport. But then, after that, everything was around him and for himself. All right? This government hasn't even done that. They haven't even done that. More people are dying probably now from lack of government services, like the hospital, you know, and security is in turmoil. Yeah, there are more robbers now than any time in the Gambia. Armed robbers, you see. So those are things that we are going to tackle head on. We're going to tackle that.
Meanwhile, as the country edges closer to the 2021 general election, the question on the lips of many is, will the APP join forces with other political parties against the NPP?
Yes. Well, as I was saying, the coalition that got Jammeh out had to do it. That was the only way. If at the time of the elections, the opposition parties want to do a coalition, we'll be part of it. There's no question, but we'll be part of it. Because the number one problem is not me, it's not Gumbo, it's not the party, it's the country. Gambia mo ñor. Gambia mo ñor. Whatever is good for Gambia, that's what we're going to do. Even if it means having a coalition. But this time, it will be different. I tell you, it will be different. What happened during that coalition, I wasn't here, but we all see the end result. We're going to make sure, put it doesn't happen again. Put some measures that doesn't happen again.
Reporting for Star TV News, I am Khadija Danso.
Well, those were the local stories. We'll be back with international news. After the short break, please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.global.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding. Gosh.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220, or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Sophie Milk ñu ngi fété juróom benn ati cafka bu dut dañ ñoo leen indil Jalika full cream milk powder neex saf sàpp te bari cafka pour di leen jërëjëfati si ni ngeen defee Sophie Milk seen favorite milk brand léegi mun ngeen a jëfandikoo empty Jalika milk sachets wala carton pour gagner ay xéewal yu riche pour gagner motorbike dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty carton yi Jalika milk pour gagner yeneen xéewal yu mel ni PlayStation 4 TV fridge freezer, gas cooker, bicycle wala mobile phone. dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty Jalika milk sachets def leen si biir enveloppe binda si sa tur ak sa téléphone number. mun ngeen koo yóbbu si bépp Jalika milk agent bu leen gën a jege. pour xam bi si raful yi dem leen Jalika milk Facebook page. Jalika milk mooy meew bu ees bu leen so fi indil gën a neex saf sàpp te riche.
We now look at the news beyond our borders. The United States Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa is in Ethiopia. He is meeting Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to discuss the Tigray conflict, among other issues. Fighting between the Ethiopian military and fighters of the Tigray People's Liberation Front is now in its 6th month, and aid organizations say they are still struggling to reach those affected. More than 63,000 Tigrayan refugees have fled to neighboring Sudan. Al Jazeera's Hiba Morgan talks to some of the refugees in Gadarif near the border with Ethiopia.
For months now, Fatima has been struggling to live with the physical scars of what she went through in her hometown of Humera. A refugee in Kuba camp in Sudan's Gadarif state says she was about to give birth when Amhara soldiers raided the hospital. She says all the health workers fled, leaving those in critical conditions like herself to deal with the soldiers.
The doctors were preparing to do a C-section on me, but when I woke up, I found a wound bigger than a normal cesarean on my belly, and Amhara soldiers were around. When I asked about my child, they said they'd taken it and asked me to leave or die.
More than 63,000 refugees have now fled to Sudan's Gadarif and neighboring Kassala states. The conflict in Tigray started in early November when the Ethiopian government launched a military campaign against the regional Tigray People's Liberation Front. It came after an attack on a government military base, following months of tension between the two sides. While the number of refugees coming into Sudan has seen little increase over the past few weeks, aid organizations say more than 1 million are internally displaced inside Tigray. The UN says aid convoys to the region are being blocked as fighting continues between the two sides, despite the Ethiopian government claiming victory over the Tigray People's Liberation Front in late November. The UN says 4.5 million people in the region are in need of relief, with hundreds of thousands facing severe malnutrition. It's described what's happening in Tigray, an unfolding full-scale humanitarian crisis. In a video smuggled out of the Ethiopian capital last month, the head of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, a native Tigrayan, became the most senior voice to call what's happening in the region a genocide. It followed a U.S. government report describing the conflict as an ethnic cleansing of Tigrayans.
I'm not sure what the Tigray people did wrong, what their crimes are. I'm not clear why they want to declare genocide on the people of Tigray. I do not know why they want to wipe the people of Tigray from the surface of the earth. The whole world should know this.
Ethiopia's government has rejected the claims, saying that it's ready to work with international human rights experts to investigate any claim of rights violations. The Pope has called on the parties to the conflict to stop the violence and protect civilians. But many in the region say his appeals are likely to be unheard.
The Pope is a religious leader, but nobody will listen to him because he is Tigrayan, plus he's religious, but they don't accept him. Those Ethiopian soldiers, Eritrean soldiers, they don't have religion. They are religionless. They don't have religion, totally. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. They are doing very, very, very guilty things here in Ethiopia, in Tigray.
Those who can are fleeing to Sudan. Those inside Tigray can only wait for aid and for the conflict to end. Thousands of people have already been killed directly by the conflict. Aid organizations warned that, with their access blocked, thousands more could die from starvation. Hiba Morgan, Al Jazeera, Gadarif State.
Tensions have been running high after days of protests in the occupied East Jerusalem, and now it is firing in Gaza. At least 21 Palestinians have been killed after Israel air raids hit Gaza. Earlier, Hamas fired a barrage of rockets from the strip towards Jerusalem. Hamas launched the attack for what is called Israel aggression in the Al-Aqsa compound. Al Jazeera's Harry Fawcett reports from occupied East Jerusalem.
For days, the question has hung over this simmering city. Would Monday, Jerusalem Day to Israelis, marking the start of Israel's occupation of East Jerusalem, be the day of definitive violent eruption? As the hours ticked by, the answer came repeatedly, grimly, in the affirmative. At 6 o'clock, as threatened, Hamas launched a long-range rocket attack on Jerusalem's outskirts. And by nightfall, it was counting a growing number of dead, including children, as the Israeli military struck Gaza. One blast in the northern city of Beit Hanun killed 9 people, including 3 children.
Children, 8 months old, were killed. Mohammed, who was getting married 5 days after Eid, was killed. How is this a children's fault? Girls between the ages of 7 and 9 have died. How is this their fault? We were just sitting outside the house waiting for the call to prayer.
Hamas military sources told us they believed Israel was targeting a Palestinian Islamic Jihad fighter who they said had earlier fired an anti-tank missile at an Israeli jeep, narrowly missing its civilian owner. That attack coincided with the Hamas rocket strike on Jerusalem. 7 missiles fired, 1 intercepted, 6 falling in open ground. Israel's Prime Minister said that crossed a red line, requiring a forceful response.
We
will not tolerate harm to our territory, to our capital, to our citizens or to our soldiers. He who attacks us will pay a heavy price. I tell you, citizens of Israel, the current confrontation may last for a while. We didn't want escalation, but he who chose to escalate will feel our armed strike.
Hamas had earlier blamed Israel for crossing the line with the actions of its security forces in the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, known to Jews as the Temple Mount. They moved in large numbers, using tear gas, rubber-coated steel bullets, batons and stun grenades. For a second time in 3 days, the inside of the mosque became a scene of battle.
Al-Aqsa and Jerusalem are a red line. Whoever bears all the consequences of this dangerous Zionist aggression is the Israeli occupation. This is why the situation is exploding.
Israeli officials said Palestinians triggered the violence with stone throwing. Palestinian witnesses blamed the Israelis for firing rubber-coated steel bullets from long range. Injuries quickly mounted into the hundreds. The Palestinian Red Crescent said its own medics were among them. In the neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah, where Palestinian families face eviction, Palestinian Israeli members of parliament faced off against representatives of far-right Israeli parties. The Israeli Jerusalem Day march was called off after the government barred the usual route through the Muslim quarter of the Old City, citing the risk of violence. But through the day, into the night, that violence came anyway.
A day that began with violence is now ending in violence. A Muslim holy month that began here with simmering tensions has spread, those tensions spreading into truly dangerous territory now.
Deep into the night, waves of rockets continued to be fired from Gaza. At the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the confrontations flared again, setting a tree alight. A violent day over, dangerous days still ahead. Harry Fawcett, Al Jazeera, occupied East Jerusalem.
Over the past week, major cities in the United States have reported a wave of shootings and a 30% in gun violence. As coronavirus lockdowns ease, mental health experts blame COVID-19-induced anxiety, unemployment, and a decreased police presence in the states. Analysts also say that 3 million more firearms were sold last year compared with previous years, perhaps driven by fears over race riots following the death of a black man, George Floyd. Al Jazeera's Andy Glacher reports from Miami, the U.S.
There were 9 mass shootings over the weekend in the U.S., according to the Gun Violence Archive.
The worst left 6 dead at a family birthday party in Colorado Springs. In New York's Times Square, a 4-year-old child was caught in crossfire as that city deals with the proliferation of weapons.
We have been taking guns off the street in New York City at an alarming rate over the last 2 years, and it's time now that we have consequences for those.
2020 was a year dominated by the deadly COVID-19 pandemic, but despite lockdowns and less outdoor activity, major cities saw spikes in murder rates. Places like Los Angeles, Chicago and New York all recorded surges of at least 30%. Experts say COVID anxiety, loss of jobs and fewer police on the streets are all factors.
You now have a pent-up populace that is combining with guns, mental health, and everything that all of us went through last year, and you're opening back up.
The demand for firearms last year led to 3 million more guns being sold than normal. According to the Brookings Institute, many of those sales were driven by concerns over personal safety and the civil unrest following the death of George Floyd at the hands of police.
I fear that we're going to see these things happen continually, but what I don't want is I don't want people to be desensitized to this normalcy. We shouldn't accept this as part of our normal. No other country in the world does.
As this nation begins its slow recovery from the pandemic, the scars from a period that's hit the disadvantaged hardest may continue. During the pandemic, overall crime fell, but it's a dramatic rise in shootings and murder that has many concerned. It's hoped the vaccine rollout, schools reopening and increased employment will help. Statistics at this stage aren't necessarily an indicator of future trends, but it's clear the defeat of COVID-19 may be the best solution for now. Andy Gallagher, Al Jazeera, Miami, Florida.
Well, before we end the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. Wood Exporters Association worried by illegal rosewood trade. Prominent educationist and politician Abbas Mane laid to rest the relatively booming Korité sales. Bob Marley remembered 40 years on. APP leader says Gambia is urgent need of salvation. In other news, Tigray conflict fuels refugee crisis, struggle to deliver aid. Palestinians report 21 killed in Israel, 8 raids on Gaza. COVID stressors add to rise in U.S. gun violence. On behalf of Star TV and I, we wish all the Muslims in the country and abroad a wonderful Eid al-Adha. Bye for now.